I look like a gardener to you? I am a better, I am not a gardener. Hedging is for gardens. How does your garden grow?
With plus money.
With plus money. Hedging is for gardens.
Welcome aboard, everyone, to Betting Weekly Live. It is Tuesday, the 19th of August, with Steve Wyss and Nigel Seeley. On the agenda today, Champions League qualifying, the opening round of La Liga, Real Madrid making their first appearance, and action in England, League One and League Two. We're into the final playoff round now of Champions League qualifying. Nigel, not too long to wait till the group stage.
No, and not too long to wait before the viewers and the subscribers can see us with our glorious yellow jackets. Can't wait to see that. I've actually lost a bit of weight in the summer, so God knows what it's going to look like on me now. It's going to be hanging off me. So the family of four were living it in the summer. Now there could be more people living in it. I mean, looking forward to putting that back on the next when we have.
Yeah, not too far away at all. Welcome, everyone. Rick Haley, good to see you. Ming Chung, AZ Flights, Duncan Evans, Villafan as well, Noah Goodman and Holo Ahe. Don't worry, Ming will be talking about Paphos. We'll be talking about all the Champions League games. Yesterday, just before we move on, notable winners and losers yesterday. A bit of a harsh one, actually, in the Leeds-Everton game. Someone backed over 9.5 corners at -133. There were 9 corners exactly, and 5 in the first 15 minutes. Felt that was a bit of a bad beat, really. Good to see someone place nearly $6,000 on the Swedish game, Värnamo Degerfors, over 2.5 goals. A winner that I actually gave out on the show. That's got to be someone who watched Betting Weekly Live, I reckon. And someone also bagged the correct score, 3-2 at 15-1, $100 on that. Well done to that particular bettor. We've got house specials across the board today. I'll mention the one in the Real Madrid match soon. But of course, the Soccer Profit Boost Pack. Remember to log into your BetRivers app each week, to receive a Soccer Profit Boost consisting of a live profit boost and a parlay profit boost.
I think the bad beat yesterday, to just interrupt there, I just want to just get this in. I think the bad beat yesterday was anyone who backed Carlos Alcaraz in the tennis. I mean, BetRivers give you, your bet stands if you win a set. And Carlos Alcaraz was winning 5-0 against Yannick Sinner. And Yannick Sinner pulled out. So that has got to be the baddest beat of the season so far. If you bet Carlos Alcaraz yesterday in that final in Cincinnati, 5-0 up, thinking, okay, just get one more game and we're okay. Didn't do it, and obviously that would have been a real bad beat yesterday.
It was some day for Carlos Alcaraz, wasn't it? I mean, he was on the field in the tennis and the soccer as well.
Amazing scenes. He won the Cincinnati Masters and he got booked 10 minutes later in the Everton Leeds match. How on earth can he possibly do that? But he did. Amazing talent.
Meninda says, please can we be more entertaining than Everton were yesterday? It won't take much doing, Meninda. They were pretty damn bad. And yes, I was, of course, happy with the Leeds result. I thought the draw was a big price, and it would have been a draw had the penalty not been given, really. Just having a look now at some of the comments today. Tobias Depler, good to see you. Moose 10. That's a new name. Welcome in. Good to see you. Put your best bet in the chat today, Moose. G. Davis, if only Sinner could have finished the first set, like you said, Nigel. That's what I think a lot of bettors really wanted with that one. Before we move on to some matches today, do remember to sign up to the Betting Weekly newsletter. This is a free edition that comes out twice a week. The Insider on Friday headlines the show, and there's loads of picks again. Going to be for every single Premier League game and several high-profile European matches for the weekend, Nigel. And it's totally free to sign up, isn't it?
And again, you're missing out on the biggest thing of the week. It's the US Open tennis starting this weekend, and it's a US Open tennis preview in the Insider as well. Some of these big previews on these big events are fantastic. We've obviously golf tournaments, we had the Masters, we had the Open. They're really, really good content, and all the handicappers are involved. It's going to cover the best bets across Europe and also in the Premier League. But the main stage is the big tournament next week over at Flushing Meadow in New York, starting on Monday. Draw Thursday, live draw as well. Lots of action. The action never stops here on Betting Week Studios.
Yeah, glad you mentioned that live draw reaction. What time is that going to be, Nigel, on Thursday? Who's going to be in the show?
It's 12 o'clock Eastern time, 5 o'clock in the UK. It'll be myself, Tim Dennis, and Mitch Michaels covering the draw like we did for the Wimbledon draw.
Yeah, absolutely. Don't miss out on that at all. Just going to go through some more comments before we talk about today's games. ZT, good to see you as well. Everton costs both teams to score parlay, says that's a bit of a shame, actually. But they never looked like scoring, Everton, did they? Did they have one shot on target? It was a disappointing result for them and a performance. Week 1 of the Premier League is now in the book. I think only one underdog won, Nigel, on the whole card.
Yep.
That
was Sunderland, wasn't it? Sunderland down near
plus 250, was
Lots of draws, though. Lots of draws in the early 3 draws, could have been 4, lots of unders, 2-0 nils as well, wasn't it? 2-0, which was unheard of. We had a nil for ages. So draws was all, but the favourites aren't getting beat in the Premier League, and the favourites aren't getting beat in the world of sport. I mean, we spoke about the Dojo, Scotty Scheffler winning in the golf, Luke Littler back-to-back tournaments and the darts, obviously a new name in America, but what a superstar he's going to be across the world in the world of darts. Yannick Sinner and obviously Carlos Alcaraz playing in the final. Iga Swiatek. Favourites are winning everywhere we go. Will there be some favourites winning tonight in the Champions League?
Yeah, let's see. We'll start with Champions League qualifying. 3 matches today on the card, and we've got matches in Belgrade, we've got matches in Hungary, and also in Glasgow. We'll start with the game in Belgrade, Red Star Belgrade, otherwise known as Crvena Zvezda, with the books. They're minus 220 to beat Paphos, Dan Roebuck's favourite team, plus 500 in the first leg. The tie plus 360. Over 2.5 goals at minus 180, under at plus 138. I find this is a really annoying game. Because Red Star Belgrade are often a bit of an automatic bet at home in these type of fixtures, but at minus 220, that's pretty short, actually. This Paphos team have impressed in qualifying. I think Red Star will win. I think there'll be goals, but actually it's one of those matches where I believe the value is on the other side, looking at handicaps like +1 and under 3 goals. So in that sort of situation, I usually no bet, Nigel, actually. When I've got a conflict of interest, so to speak. Red Star, we know, is one of the hardest places to go, but they are missing 2 players to suspension. For this game, we've got Rodrigo ruled out and Rada Krunic ruled out, and Arnautovic, who was actually on the graphic there, is actually injured as well. So my actual lean for the game is on a goal scorer. It's on the former Chicago Fireman, Alexander Gatai.
I've got exactly the same bet. That's the bet I have. Exactly the same bet. I can't believe he's not the favourite.
Well, he should be, shouldn't he? Because he's the one going to be getting the action, and he's been in good form, right, Nigel?
Yeah, I mean, what's he got? 6 goals in 4 appearances. I mean, his record for Red Star's been incredible. 83 goals in 143 matches for the club since 2020. He's more of a winger, though, isn't he? Rather than an out-and-out striker. But he's in bang form at the end of his career. I mean, he's 34 years of age. I couldn't believe he was. I couldn't believe he wasn't the favourite, given his stats. Plus 550 to score any time. Plus 230 to score any time. Plus 550 to score the first goal in a match that I would expect goals. I was exactly the same bet on that match. We did we speak about that? Truthfully, no, we didn't.
No.
So
there you go.
I was on the same. The only thing I tell you one thing that worries me a little bit about tonight's match, and it's probably a little bit off the football field. Obviously, there's riots in Belgrade, isn't there, for the last 4 days? Over the students being attacked by, they reckon the authorities have paid some hooligans to beat up the students, and there's been a lot of trouble in and around the centre of Belgrade. It's calmed down a little bit yesterday, but this could be quite a feisty kind of atmosphere here, and I think Paphos might be in for a little bit of a tense night. I think there's the tension of what's been going on in the streets in Belgrade may spill over in some kind of protests from the teams. A lot of people might look at the bookings in this match. I know Bet Rivers, depending on what state you are in, offer bookings, but mostly they don't offer bookings. But I got a feeling sometimes where something politically goes off into this crowd and people make a statement, it doesn't necessarily bring that edge to the pitch. The players are told under no circumstances to keep it calm, to not entice the crowd. And I think the Red Star side, the Red Star fans, are going to be very, very aggrieved what's been going on in the streets in Belgrade, and they're rioting. And this is a part of the world that when they riot, they do let their feelings show. So I'm I'm slightly worried about how that might take a little bit of the edge of this match, because you can definitely guarantee that the Red Star fans will make some kind of statement about what's been going on in the streets in their country. And if it spills over into the crowd, that may see that the bookings that we may expect on the average is in the term of the match. Obviously, it's a do or die now to get into the crucial next stage of the Champions League. I think that might be a little bit of an issue. So be very wary of that, because it's not been a very, very happy place to be in Belgrade in the last week or so.
It is a difficult place to go. I mean, the last round, both me and you got done up in the Paphos game. Dynamo Kiev didn't deliver for us. I think Dynamo Kiev were minus 160, around that sort of odds, and we got Red Star here at minus 220. Obviously, they do have a home advantage, unlike Dynamo. Do you think that just a little bit short, Nigel? This Paphos team made its debut ever in European competition last season.
I think that the European pedigree of Red Star Belgrade, or whichever way you want to call them, the artist formerly known as Red Star Belgrade, I think that's the reason why they're being bet here. But I do think that this is. I think there may be, the what's going on in the streets does have a little bit of an impact here, and not much. And I look at certain things like that to look at betting. I mean, I remember many years ago, and this is a true story. I worked in a trading office in London, and we had a lot of people betting stuff, and a lot of people betting overs and unders. We were a spread betting company, so you can bet overs and unders. And there was some crowd disturbance in a corner of a football match. I'll never forget it, in a corner of a football match, and people were throwing bottles and all kinds of stuff. Police were congregating in that corner. And every opportunity there was to have a corner in that, for the team to have a corner in that corner, they didn't take a corner in that corner. They sort of pushed it for a throw on. Nobody wanted to take a corner for the team in that end. And certain kind of things like that always stick in my mind. Nowadays, obviously, there's data models that give these kind of prices, but it doesn't take to factor what's going on in politically agenda and stuff like that. So I think there's going to be a little bit of tension tonight. I think there could be some kind of reaction from the Red Star fans who are very, 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 very vocal in their support and their feelings, and that may come across onto the pitch. And I think that extra pressure might be a problem.
I think it's a dangerous game to get heavily involved in. That's what I will say. But definitely that Alexander Katai to score any time is too big for what it should be. Plus 230. Dante A says Katai does play well off the striker. He's not sure if the injured players will work against him. And he says, Nigel, you're right. In the Balkans, we do rights properly. Yep. I was just looking at some other comments here. Holo Ahe, for anyone who has signed up to the newsletter, we often get these comments and they can't find it in their inbox. You've got to check your junk file. You've got to check what other sort of files you've got with whatever email provider. It will be there somewhere. Trust me. If you've signed up, it will be there. And Brad Elwanger said he signed up for an Insider a few weeks ago, and he said it's got outstanding content. You're absolutely right, Brad. It is totally free, and it's one of the best pieces out there. Paphos have signed David Luiz and looking to sign Cavani. Big plans for the club. I think they've got some sort of investor from it might be Russia, even somewhere like that. I'm not exactly sure, but Paphos obviously are a club on the up. I can tell you now, though, 90% of the money is on Red Star for this match and 79% of the tickets. Let's move to Glasgow. Rangers against Club Brugge here. Club Brugge plus 128 favourites to win the first leg. Rangers plus 180. Rangers plus 200 to go through in this tie. We were talking a bit off air. I actually describe Rangers as a bit of a circus right now. And there's certainly plenty of noise going on with them. They've had some great results this season. They've had some terrible results this season. This is a big thing for Rangers. It's a big thing for all the teams. We must mention there's at least £25 million up for grabs here for these teams to qualify for the league phase. And Rangers definitely could do with that money. Plus 180 on the Scottish runners-up. Nigel, does they interest you?
Well, I was actually quite surprised of the difference between the prices on the money line here, plus 180 to plus 128, because obviously Rangers are such a club that have a huge home record in Europe, do particularly well at home, and then seem to let you down on the road. Obviously, Bruges have done exceptionally well in recent years, and they did well in the Europa League last year. And I mean, they went all the way through the knockout stage, didn't they? They got beat by Aston Villa. They had some good wins. They went to Atalanta, won 3-1. You know, they went to they beat Atalanta, Man City. They played and they were 1-0 up against Man City. They played really, really well. But every single one of the Bruges matches was a high scoring, entertaining match. And just watching Rangers this season, I think they're going to be quite entertaining to watch as well. So my first attention here is on goals. I mean, I know the first column we got there is both teams to score no, but I think there could be goals in this match because I don't trust Rangers defending. Russell Martin is a manager that wants them to play out from the back, and as we've seen in their league form this season, every time they've tried to play out from the back, they've just made schoolboy errors. It's a system that they're not used to. But they've left their best form. All their best form this season has come in this competition. 2 home wins against Panathinaikos and Victoria Plzeň. Bruges, I think, are a step up from both of those sides. I don't see Rangers getting beat in this match, if I'm brutally honest with you. I mean, they held on for dear life in the return legs in those matches, but I don't see them getting beat in this match. They've got a little bit of a slight advantage, not a slight advantage, but they've got a little bit of a fact that they played St Mirren at the weekend rather than a Hearts or a Celtic. If it was an old firm game, I think that would be a problem for them. This is an absolute massive, huge match for the manager in what is his 6th match in charge. There is a current form line between these two sides, well, however much relevance you want to take into it. They both played in a pre-season friendly in the beginning of July, and it was a 2-2 draw at Ibrox. So, no, there isn't many difference of players who are going to be different from that as well. But obviously, this is a high-intensity match. And the Rangers fans are notoriously well. They got into a European Cup final a few years back. They're hard to beat at home, and I'm just quite surprised they're plus 180. I don't think they'll qualify. I think Bruges will have too much for them when they go on the away trip. But I give them a slight chance here, and I quite like them on the draw no bet market. I probably won't bet them. It's not an official bet. Most of my official bet, my bet was the goal scorer we had there in the first match, Alexander Katai. But that was my only bet in the Champions League. But I've got some bets in the Football League. But I do think that Rangers have got a chance. I just think at plus 180, I think it's too big a price.
Dante Hayes mentioned there, Solis is likely to replace Eze at Palace. And I think this is a problem for Club Brugge. They have lost players this summer. I think Sunderland got one of their guys. De Kuiper, of course, is at Brighton now. And so this is the team, not in transition maybe, but, you know, when you've lost big players, they'll always have a conveyor belt of talent coming in Club Brugge, but it can take a bit of time to settle in. I'm kind of with you, actually. Over the 2 legs, you'd say Club Brugge, but at Ibrox, you know, these fans can make a big difference.
Massive. I mean, I think I remember going to some stats a few years back. I mean, I'm going back a few years back now, and the Scottish clubs, Rangers and Celtic, their record at home compared to their record away was the most diverse in all the European football. If you bet them to win in their home matches, you made a decent profit. But when you bet them away, like Celtic at the time, I think Celtic won for about 6 years of the way from home in Europe. It was just chalk and cheese. At home, they're a different problem. They're a different animal. And I just think plus 180 is a little bit of a big price against Bruges. I mean, Bruges will be under the cosh for the first 25, 30 minutes. Rangers have given their best form. I mean, their data in those 2 matches, Panathinaikos and Victoria Plzeň, is good. It's their league form that has suffered, and I do expect goals, and I think that I don't see Rangers losing this one. So I'm going to go for Rangers on the draw no bet market with the event of push
plus money.
Yeah, plus money.
Charlie DeLucci says over 2.75 on the Asian goal line. If I had a lean in the game, it would be on the goals. Definitely. I think you've got to get the Asian line of 3, really, if you want to be betting closer to evens. But nothing wrong with 2.75 or 2.5. I mean, in the previous round, the Club Brugge games against Salzburg were mega wide open. Really were. And we know what the Russell Martin matches can be like at Rangers. So there probably will be goals in this game. There's an interesting sort of trend here with the split of the tickets. In that we've got 78% of the tickets on the money line are on Rangers, 65% of the money's on Club Brugge. So that probably just suggests quite a lot of maybe sort of casual bettors will be having some tickets on Rangers, but maybe the bigger money's on Club Brugge. But it's an interesting split. You don't often get that too often, which kind of shows maybe there is a probably 50-50 of opinion for the game. The books will like that, and they're probably guaranteed to make money out of this game. Bet Rivers, but interesting sort of fixture there.
The line's 3, and I mean, a lot of people going goals. The line is a 3.5 goal line, obviously with under a very heavy favourite. It's around about 2.75. I think you've got to be very brave to bet both teams to score no, because the way that Russell Martin likes to play, his whole ethos is play out from the back, and he did it with Southampton. Southampton weren't good enough to do it. They conceded so many goals from scoreboard errors, and Rangers this season in the league have done exactly the same. I think they've conceded a couple of goals in Europe exactly the same way. He won't change his philosophy, and he said his interviews, he's adamant that what he wants to do. You either buy into it or you don't, and I think. He stands by it, and if he gets beat tonight in Bruges, he's got a tough straight out of Europe straight away. Then he's got a tough time at Rangers because he's so far behind Celtic and Hearts at the top of the table.
Problem with Rangers or any Russell Martin team, they could look in complete control for the whole game, and then one mistake with the way they play could just let in a very easy chance.
Yep.
They must be difficult to actually model for some of the stats guys out there. Baiting out chances and stuff, because they, like I said, they could dominate games, but you want to call it a mistake, a tactical breakdown might be the better way of saying it. Just deliver. They concede a lot of big chances. Russell Martin teams is basically my point. Shakespeare's betting on the soccer now, Nigel.
Was he?
Yeah. He gave out Coventry City at the weekend at a decent price. Back both draws last night, and he cashed with the Real Betis one. Shakespeare, what's your best bet on the soccer today? Put it in the chat. This guy's got the Midas touch. Michael Taylor says 2-2. The old Desmond is his prediction this evening. Heck of atmosphere. If Rangers start well, the place will be bouncing. Absolutely right. There is one more Champions League qualifying game today. All these kick off at 3 p.m. local time, by the way. It's just Ferencvaros, the Hungarian champions, against Qarabag, the Azerbaijani champions here. Robbie Keane, the manager, of course, of Ferencvaros, -118 favourites in this game. I think this is probably the most difficult match of the actual evening to predict and to bet on. But in terms of the team to go through, Qarabag do catch my eye here at -106. It probably would be my best bet on the card. Two reasons, really. Number one, I actually think they can avoid defeat in the first leg here. They've been playing very, very well in qualifying. They've got a heck of a lot of momentum. Scoring goals, dominating games. But even if they did lose the first leg, they're the sort of team you could trust to turn it around in the home leg over in Azerbaijan. It's a horrible place to go. They've got a really strong record there. And for me, over the two legs, Qarabag will go through, Nigel. I think they should be the favourite in this market, and they're actually the slight underdog. But the first leg, I think, could be tight, difficult to call. Maybe a draw or 1-goal win for Ferencvaros. But over the two legs, for me, Qarabag get the job done.
Well, yeah, Ferencvaros, obviously the Hungarian league is in full flow at the moment. They get a big disappointing loss at the weekend as their first loss of the season domestically. But I don't really look too much into that because this is a big priority. I mean, this match is, like I say, it's worth 25 million. For a Hungarian side like Ferencvaros or Qarabag, it's a huge game. This one here is the one I think could be quite feisty. I think this is a genuine 50-50, but whenever you're betting on bookings, first legs are always notoriously low and they all implode in the second leg. But this one here has got the look, it's worth so much for these two clubs in the way they are in their leagues, in their future, and to get that kind of carrot being dangled, these players are surely going to lose their heads at some stage. So I do think this could be quite a feisty one. I'm actually leaning towards quite an under close match here. I think it might, a 1-0 Ferencvaros win, maybe a draw, but I do like the under 2.5 goals if I was pushed at -103. But I do think whatever lead Ferencvaros have, if it's a narrow lead, then Qarabag will come out fighting in leg two. So I agree with you again on that, I'm afraid, Steve. So we have to find something we disagree on.
Yeah, that will come. There's many games to come this season. Shakespeare's going with the Real Madrid Asian handicap as his best bet of the day.
Well, that's Shakespeare, I got a quote from Shakespeare here. He says, "There be some sports are painful, and the labour delight in them sets off." And that was from The Tempest. So there are some sports that are painful, and hopefully it's not a painful night tonight for Shakespeare.
I'm not sure about that bet. I've got to say, I've seen quite a few putting up Real Madrid in chat -2 and stuff like that. Real Madrid do get their season off underway today against Osasuna, -530 favourites Osasuna 12-1 shots, over 3.5 goals is at plus 123. Both teams score yes is at plus 107. Now, the reason a lot of people have asked me, why are Real Madrid playing on a Tuesday? This doesn't often happen with La Liga. They wanted to get this match completely postponed. They wanted more time to recover from the Club World Cup, but the league basically wouldn't let them do it. They've given them the minimum amount of rest period that's required. And they said, no, you're going to have to play your game. We'll put it on Tuesday for you. So this is very interesting that Real Madrid have only played one friendly since the Club World Cup. And I don't know. I think they'll be fine, really. They should be well conditioned. But
well, you say that. Can I just go? I mean, I'm leaving this tip to you, but I'm just going to just make a point here. I mean, Paris Saint-Germain were not at it at all against Tottenham. I mean, they were how they come through that. They were absolutely not at the race at all. I was at Chelsea at the weekend against Crystal Palace. They were absolutely awful, Chelsea. Palace should have won that game with that. There's a free kick. So the teams that have come back from the Club World Cup at the moment haven't done anything, and I think the market will look at those two matches and want to fade them. Not necessarily in the money line, but I do think they might want to fade them. I mean, Paris Saint-Germain were half asleep. They weren't at, and Chelsea winning the tournament. I mean, that was as low key, and Cole Palmer was non-existent, absolutely non-existent. So Pedro, nowhere near the shade of it. I think there's going to be ramifications for these teams who are playing in the Club World Cup for the first 4 or 5 matches until they get in their stride. And Real Madrid want to oppose it. I wouldn't be betting them on a high handicap this week. I think that's the trend you want to be getting with the underdogs, teams that come back.
Yeah, I like the +2 here on Osasuna. Like you said there, Chelsea, PSG didn't look very good at the weekend. PSG haven't looked good full stop since they come back from the Club World Cup. And, even if Real Madrid win by 2 goals, you would not lose the actual bet. Osasuna have a terrible record against Real Madrid. They haven't won any of the last 27 head-to-heads. Last victory against them was in 2011, a 1-0 win. Iker Casillas, Benzema, Ronaldo were in that Real Madrid team, but they did draw 10 away games last season, Osasuna, which is a league high. They are such a difficult team to predict. They can be anything. They're like the Fulham of La Liga, Nigel. Really hard to get a read on them. But in this instance, I think Real Madrid could be. I mean, they've beaten them 4-0 the last 2 seasons at home, but this is surely a great time to get them. They've got a decent striker, Budimir, front for Osasuna. 24 goals last season, the Croatian. He can be a bit of a handful. There is a house special, Kylian Mbappe, to score in the first half of this match at plus 123. Mbappe, of course, did. He had quite a poor year really last season, but he still won the Pichichi Award in La Liga. And the new manager, Xabi Alonso, has come and said that basically these egos need to go. He said there's too many egos in this team.
I know how he feels, mate. I'm running a team like that. I know exactly how he feels.
Yes. Basically, he said they need to start chipping in together, mucking in as such. Otherwise, they're not going to be in the team. So let's see how Real Madrid get on with this Xabi Alonso system. We think it's going to be 4-3-3. No Jude Bellingham, of course, until October. Ferland Mendy still injured. Camavinga, Endrick ruled out. Rudiger suspended for this match. I think they're opposable. Just looking at some of the other bets in chat here. Effie Brilovsky, good to see you. Real Madrid and team total over 1.5. And that's an interesting bet, isn't it? So what's that then? Osasuna team total under 1.5. I'm getting confused there, but I think it's Real Madrid to win 2-1 or greater. Anyway, we'll put it on the screen for the chat. Lots liking Madrid minus 1.5 on the Asian handicap, and 98% of the money and 98% of the tickets are on Real Madrid for this fixture. So I am actually swimming against the tide. I don't do that too often actually, but I am really in the minority here. I couldn't get Real Madrid for this match. +2 for me. Effie Brilovsky says Qarabag +0.5 at about minus 110. Let's see how it goes. I think they could be a little bit sluggish. Even if they win by 2 goals, you get your money back with the +2. But good luck, whatever everyone's taking. Looks like most are against me on this one.
I'm with you. I'm with you again. I think it's going to take time to cover that Club World Cup. I've said it at the time when they went through it. I know Manchester City put in a brilliant performance and that, but they've got a squad big enough to cope with it. I just think that if you go deep in that, you might struggle for the first 4 or 5 games. And I think the Asian market will get against those teams for that particular reason.
It's got to be to do with, Chelsea have a bigger squad actually than Real Madrid.
But they're 2 centre-halves out of the weekend. They're both their 2 centre-halves throughout the weekend. They had a lot of new players. I mean, and the other thing with Chelsea at the weekend, we're probably sort of going away from where we were. Crystal Palace are a very big physical side. They have 3 centre-backs who are massive. They're 6'3", 6'4". Chelsea were putting balls into the box. You had Pedro, you had Neto, you had Fernandez, you had João Pedro. Sorry, I've said him earlier. You had Cole Palmer. I mean, they're not the most physical of teams. So when you're putting the balls into the box all the time, them 3 centre-halves is going to lack it up. And they're the best 3 centre-halves. They're a brilliant defensive unit, Crystal Palace, and they've hit you on the counter-attack. The only time they look good is when the Delap come on and put some physicality on. That was the problem.
Shakespeare says, the Tempest is a personal favourite of mine, Nigel.
Yep.
Put your favourite Shakespeare play in chat. I think I'd go Merchant of Venice. I had to go for one. Kit on now. Always good to see you in chat. Kit on now. This is a man who swims against the tide quite a lot. Nigel, speaking of Azerbaijan, check out a channel called Wilderness Cooking. Amazing scenery. That's very random, Kit on now.
Do you know what, Kit? I'm a very busy man, mate, and in my spare time, I do a lot of things. But Wilderness Cooking was probably not one I want to be looking at. But I really appreciate you letting us know about that. But we'll have a look at it.
Yeah, very worth having a look. Okay, we're going to look at now English League 1 and English League 2. Full round of fixtures, Nigel. Midweek card here for these teams. So we'll start with League 1, loads of fixtures to look at here. Which matches catch your eye? What are the best bets on the League 1 card?
Well, I think it's always very, very difficult to start the season. Luton, obviously, the favourites to win this division. They got to bounce back from a shock defeat at the end last weekend. There's a lot of teams taking their sort of finding their levels. But I think at the early part of the season, you can suddenly find teams that you think aren't very good. And you can suddenly find teams who are a little bit better than we expected. And that's the same in the Premier League this weekend. We've all come to the conclusion after one match that Brentford aren't very good. We've all come to the conclusion that West Ham aren't very good. And we've all come to the conclusion that Manchester City are a lot better than what they are. And Tottenham are probably a force to be reckoned with, and Manchester United. And the market sort of reflects that. In League 1 and League 2, you don't really get so much market moves. But I have a friend of mine who watches a lot of League 1 matches and a lot of stuff. And I've used him for years and years and years. And he's talking to me about, and he's seen a few matches already with a lot of these teams involved. And he's got a big, big negative for some clubs, and he's got a big positive for others. On a personal note, I actually bet Huddersfield this morning at even money to beat Doncaster. Both teams are unbeaten. Huddersfield have got new manager, Lee Grant, lots of goals in them, very, very entertaining. But there's been a massive drift for Huddersfield. And that plus 114 looks like it's going to get bigger. So that's a bit of a concern for me. So for this show, I'm just going to put it up as a lean because I'm worried about the drift. There must be some team news that I'm not aware of. Doncaster are obviously unbeaten as well, but Doncaster, I think, have played a lot less opposition than Huddersfield. The one negative that I have is Plymouth already. I think Plymouth are a side that have got a big, big test on their hands this season. They've got the manager Cleverly, who's come in to be their manager from Watford. They haven't won a match. Their data is really, really poor. The guy I saw him play Bolton said they're the worst team he's seen this year. Well, not this season, but including some of the games last season. They've played 4 matches this year. They've lost 3 in the league. The only one they won against was my team, QPR, in the cup, which shows you how bad QPR are. But they're conceding goals. They've conceded 8 goals in the last 2 matches. My only worry about it is Leyton Orient have also struggled quite bad as well, because Leyton Orient, without their top goal scorer this season, who's gone back to gone to Charlton on loan. He was on loan from QPR, and he was responsible for 20. Charlie Kelman was responsible for about 22 goals last season. So I worry about him. But I got a feeling that Leyton Orient may give Plymouth a bit of a test today, but obviously it's a long way to travel. That's logistically down to Plymouth. It's a horrible place to travel. My best bet in League 1 though is Barnsley. I think Barnsley are really good. Again, Barnsley played Bolton at the weekend, and the reports from Barnsley were very, very good in possession. A side that look like they're going well. It look like they've got a team that could do very well this season. They're unbeaten in the league. They're scoring goals. They've got a striker who's in good form. They're up against a side in Peterborough who are absolutely in turmoil at the moment. They've lost every single match they played this season. Lost 3 matches, lost in the cup as well, conceding an alarming amount of goals, conceding at least 2 in every single match they played and only scored 1. They've been bet today. They were plus 125 this morning, and I quite like Barnsley there to win that match. So Barnsley would be my best bet in this division. I have a lean for Huddersfield. I think they've got goals in them. Obviously, they got beat by the Blackpool the weekend. I don't know if I said that incorrectly. They got beat 3-2. They were down to 10 men, Blackpool, but Huddersfield had a lot of possession in their match. I think they had 77% of possession. So my best bet tonight and my only bet in League One is Barnsley. I'm quite interested in fading Plymouth and get with Leyton Orient with the draw no bet. But I'm worried about that. Wimbledon against Cardiff is another game that interests me. Wimbledon had a good start to the season, but they've come up from League Two. They're up against a Cardiff side who were in the Championship last season. I think the market has got too carried away with the Wimbledon start. I think Cardiff are one of the best teams in this division. If you can put the graphic back up, I think Cardiff are like 1 plus 130 to win that match. I think that's a big price. Cardiff, plus 120. So plus 120 Cardiff. So my bets here. Stockport, I think Stockport Bradford's another interesting one. Stockport have done well this season. Bradford are unbeaten as well, so that's an interesting game. But my official plays tonight, I think I'm going to go, or I'm definitely going to go for Barnsley to win at plus 116 against Peterborough, and I'm going to go for Cardiff at plus 120 to beat Wimbledon.
Yeah, do you know what's interesting? 2 teams that I really like at the minute are playing each other. It's that bottom game, Stockport against Bradford. I think they're both. Bradford, I know quite a lot of Bradford fans, and at the moment, I've never known them so confident. They are so happy with their team, and they're back on the up again. And Stockport are one of the solid teams in this division. So
they let me down the weekend, Stockport. They were 2-1 up, and then they conceded in the last kick of the game and to get a 2-2 draw. But they got a good side, team that should be challenging the title. But you know, there's a market drift for them as well. But the solid market move is for Barnsley. And I do think Wimbledon tonight, their start. I mean, I've been to see Wimbledon for years and years and years. I watched them as well quite a lot on a Saturday and whenever they play. Very physical side, very hard to break down. At home, they can see a lot more goals than they do away. On the road, they're very strong defensively. Their manager is very defensive minded, very well organised, but they lack a lot of flair. I think Cardiff have got the flair. And from the first day of the season, I thought Cardiff were brilliant. And the results haven't gone exactly the way that they would have been since then. But I think this is a real big upgrade from League Two to Wimbledon. You've got to remember they were the last teams into the playoff. They got through the playoffs. They were lucky to get in for the playoffs. They've got one of the smallest budgets in League One, and they're up against a Cardiff side who, you know, should be in the Championship, really. They're a Championship side who are going to be challenging the title. And to get them at plus 120, you might look at that at the end of the season. I think that was a little bit too big.
No, Efri Brilowski says both teams scored no in the Luton game against Wigan and over 2.5 goals in the Plymouth fixture. And he's also going to be betting on Cardiff moneyline. A says Barnsley look a good price. And Moose 10 likes Barnsley as well. So, Barnsley, very popular. Let's move to League Two. And there's one team very much been in the headlines recently in League Two, and that is Morecambe. Not Morecambe, of course. Leave it with me. I forget which one it is at the minute. But anyway, League Two card, Nigel, for today. There is a postponed match in this fixture card as well, I do believe. There's actually a couple of bets I like in here, but I'm going to hear your thoughts first.
Well, Bromley are a team I saw a lot last season. Without the goals of Michael Cheek, they're in a little bit of trouble. They're very, very good at home, and on the road, they're opposable, but they're against a very, very poor side in Cheltenham. That looks to me like an unders. Bromley v Cheltenham, if I ever saw one. Barnet come up from the National League last season, but have done nothing since their return. Newport are a team they're in absolute crisis. Rated the worst team in the Football League, but Salford at minus 114, you're going to get your fingers burnt by betting them at minus money if you keep doing that throughout the season. There's a couple of things I like. Gillingham against Chesterfield. Gillingham are just an unders machine. They've obviously got a new manager in this season compared to last season, but statistically they don't create many chances. They're very, very hard to beat, and their under record is phenomenal. Chesterfield are a side that I think could win this division. I think them and MK Dons are going to be the two teams that will come up to the top of the table. That can be a low-scoring game. I wouldn't be surprised to see Chesterfield win that 1-0. But my only bet, I bet it this morning again. I bet it at -113. I bet MK Dons to beat Crawley Town. MK Dons at the weekend were very, very impressive in a 5-0 win, scoring goals, creating chances. They're the anti-post favourites. They had a bad start to the season with a 0-0 draw in the opening game. They didn't really offer anything in that match against Oldham, but since then they've gone to Barrow, won 2-0. Barrow is very, very, we talk about hard place to go. Barrow's quite a tough place to go, not the most glamorous of places. They go to Cheltenham, we host Cheltenham weekend, smash them for 5. They haven't conceded a goal yet this season. Crawley, on the other hand, are at the bottom of the table. They've played 3, lost 3, only scored 1, conceded 6. And then you've got to throw into the mix that Scott Lindsay is the manager of Crawley, and he was the manager of MK Dons last season when they got sacked. He got sacked. He was blamed for a lot of their misfiring last season. So there's an extra incentive for both sides to put in performance. The budgets of these two teams and the players they brought in at the start of the season, or the lack of players they brought in from Crawley, is massive. The gulf between these two in terms of money they have to spend is huge. And I think it's a big couple of weeks for MK Dons. MK Dons are 3-1 currently to win League 2, if you can get on the futures. And they play Crawley tonight, and then they play Newport at the weekend, who I think currently are probably up amongst the 2 worst teams in division. If they can get 6 points from those 2 games, I think they'll suddenly be about +185 to win League 2, because I think Chesterfield could probably be involved in a draw tonight. But yeah, I think MK Dons, they're the anti-post favourites. They're very good defensively, and their metrics of the weekend were very impressive in a 5-0 win, and I expect them to win.
The 2 teams I like today are Crewe draw no bet, and also Chesterfield draw no bet. Chesterfield are a team right on my radar for a couple of reasons. I think number 2, sort of, they're a very good side in general, but also the sad news recently, of course, that the owner Phil Kirk. Yeah, I think that's a big thing for a club when that happens. Emotionally, it gets
more so at home though. When you say more so at home,
yeah, definitely more so at home. Yeah.
I mean, that's an unders bet. I mean, look at Gillingham's metrics. Gillingham are just like literally, every time they take to the pitch, they played unders. They played 3 matches this season. Only 3 goals are featured in the matches. Chesterfield are very good defensively. Only conceded 1 on the road. That there looks like an unders. I mean, I'm going to get the under up now, but I think I wouldn't be surprised to see that be a draw, because I think they're a very, very difficult side to beat, Gillingham, particularly at home. It's right in the middle of nowhere. It's a funny place to go, and I just got a feeling that I think that might be a draw, but definitely unders. I mean, it's going to be low. I'm going to find out what the price is on the unders.
I swear down, Gillingham have been an unders team for about 10 years.
Mate, they've changed manager, and they thought they'd be a bit more exciting this year. Hasn't worked. Under 2.5 goals is -182. It's the lowest price on the coupon. But under maybe 2 goals on the Asian could be the go. But I can't see that being many goals in that one at all.
A is asking you, Nigel, what about Iva Jovic on the money line?
Well, I mean, the manager was Gareth Ainsworth as well. Obviously, the old Wickham manager, and he's not going to maybe change it the most time. Iva Jovic is an interesting one, because I actually put Iva Jovic down on the to win. I bet her to win the tournament, as you might know, at 14-1. But obviously, she's under 18, which means that Bet Rivers won't offer you a price on that match. And a lot of sportsbooks in America will not let you bet on a match where a player is under 18 years of age, which is over in the UK and Europe. You can do that. But on this occasion, Iva Jovic is under 18, which means you can't have a bet on the match. So I had to take it out the newsletter. I did fancy her to win. I think she's about -120 over here in the UK. But unfortunately, because she's under the age of 18, you'll not be able to bet her with Bet Rivers, which is a bit of give me some extra work to do on Monday. That's one thing I have to do.
Yeah, I mean, I wasn't aware of that either, actually. Just shows you. Effie Brolowski, did Spurs acquire Eze? I think it's very likely to happen. Yeah, it might even be announced in the next day or 2. Nigel, what is your best bet today across the board?
I'm going to have a parlay for you. I'll give you a parlay. Barnsley to win away at Peterborough, and MK Dons to win at Crawley. that'll be my little parlay. And if you want to be a little bit more daring at a low price or a bigger price, throw Cardiff in to win at Wimbledon. So I've got three there. Cardiff, all on the road. Cardiff, Barnsley, MK Dons. And then obviously the Champions League, I think, is quite difficult because of the reasons we said. But I'm going to go with Qatar to score at any time, along with you, mate.
Yeah, I think that's a great bet. And I do like a Qarabag to qualify for the Champions League group stage, which starts next month. Nigel, it was a great pleasure as always. Thank you everyone who watched live or on demand. Please do keep hitting that subscribe button and the like button as well. We're getting closer to 11,000 subscribers and we need those likes, Nigel. The likes.
Yeah, we do. Yep, we need them likes.
Lacking.
We need them. We need everyone to subscribe. And you know, I get the data comes through here, and about only 60% of the people who watch the show actually subscribe. Which when we're asking for subscribers and we're doing all this for you to give you some the home of your best sports content, we need you to do us a favor and hit that subscribe button. You know, Bet Rivers will keep doing this stuff and keep backing us as long as we keep getting subscribers and as long as we keep getting people sign up to the newsletter. So that's important. BettingWeeklyStudios.com. You won't regret it if you subscribe to that and get that insider on Friday in your inbox.
A Blinker God says, what is Thomas Frank cooking? Something in the wilderness Azerbaijan thing that Kita now mentioned, maybe. I don't know. Anyway, thank you, everyone. Remember, gamble responsibly. Do cash those winning tickets today. Best of luck with whatever you are taking. And I'll be back tomorrow with Will White for more Champions League qualifying. See you around on Betting Weekly Live next time. Betting Weekly Tennis Live in about an hour and 10 minutes time with Rory Giwani and Tim Dennis. And then we've got the Fast Break Show and the Hardball Show later on as well. So the action never stops on this channel. See you tomorrow, everyone.